Good evening, everybody. Tonight, for Antisocial Commentary, my film commentary podcast, episode number 2, we are going to do one of the coolest, darkest movies in American history, American History X, starring Edward Norton and Edward Furlong and Avery Brooks, Stacey Keach, Beverly D'Angelo. If I got that name right, I apologize. So let's get started here. Action. Okay. There we go. We'll put that away for now. And we're going to start the movie. You're going to push play with me. We're going to watch this at the same time in 3, 2, 1. Play. There we go. Okay. The New Line Cinema logo. That always reminded me of Mortal Kombat. When I was like a kid, somehow I got into the movie theater and I got to see Mortal Kombat. That's fucking awesome. Like, the 90s, underrated. They would let you into movie theaters for R-rated movies. They would, all that stuff. Okay, so we got this film is directed by Tony Kaye. The time signature on the DVD and the timer are in sync, like 1 second off here. This is 1 second slower than the actual DVD timer here. But yeah, this is a really great movie, ladies and gentlemen. We're opening up in black and white. The black and white, of course, signifies Derek Vineyard, the main character in the movie portrayed by Edward Norton. It signifies that he is still a hate-filled neo-Nazi. So whenever it's black and white, it's supposed to signify that he's still not reformed yet, kind of thing. A lot of big names in this movie. One of my favorites, of course, is Stacey Keach. Shout out to Stacey Keach. Why Stacey Keach is so awesome to me. Up in Smoke and the show Titus. If you enjoy stand-up comedy, Christopher Titus. He has a show called Titus, and Stacey Keach is just so fucking good in that show. And also, speaking of stand-up comedy in this movie, Avery Brooks actually has a special called Racially Motivated, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is a really good movie, ladies and gentlemen. American History X, 1998. It was filmed on, I have it on the card over there, Panavision Panaflex was the camera there. So, pretty exciting stuff. Sorry. That was a scary looking photo, man. That's a scary photo when Derek Vineyard is being arrested. Like fucking Edward Norton is so great in this movie. And this movie was written by David McKenna, and David McKenna said that it's loosely based on skinhead Frank Meek's life, loosely based on that, and his days experiencing the punk rock neo-Nazi scene when he was younger. So pretty neat here. I'll try to block this part out here because Fairuza Balk is just getting pounded right now, and I can't remember if her tits come out in a bit, so I'll try to make sure it's not on the on the reflection in the background here. But yeah, like my first introduction to Fairuza Balk was actually in The Wizard of Oz 2. Like that was when I was a kid, right? And when I was a kid, I was like, when you're a kid, Fairuza Balk, that's where I first met her. And it's just, what a transition from, Fairuza Balk and Wizard of Oz 2 to American History X. Just what a difference of characters. What range. Such phenomenal range. But yeah, here's the part where how can I say it? The people are about to break into Derek's car. And it's just, racism, all that stuff. And I don't know how to say it, man, but the black people are breaking into Derek's car right now. And Edward Furlong goes and tells his brother here. He's like, Fairuza Balk just giving her. It's funny. All right, there you go. This part's so fucking deadly, dude. And that like neo-Nazi, I mean that fucking swastika tattoo on Derek's chest, like that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Like what dedication to be like, yeah, go ahead, just put that, fake tattoo over my heart. Go ahead, do that. All right, we're good. But yeah, the way like the character Derek Vineyard like marches out still in his fucking boxers, like it's crazy. So for this particular movie, Edward Norton actually put on 30 pounds of muscle, and according to folklore, he asked, "Fuck yeah, gunshot." But yeah, victim number one, and the beginning of victim number two. Dude, the guy, the guys playing the victims in this fucking movie at the beginning, so fucking awesome. Their performances actually made test audiences want to vomit. And this part right here, this iconic fucking curb stomping part right here, this actually made the actor Edward Norton sick after he filmed it. Like apparently he puked like right after is what I heard. Yeah, the preparation that Edward Norton did for this role was just intense. He was a very he took this movie on like a method actor, right? He stayed in character pretty much through the entire thing, and he did real research about real white supremacists and how they approach recruiting new people and stuff like that. For some reason, I thought the curb stomping scene was right there, but like it's coming around. It's coming around. But yeah, Elliot Gould is in the office right with Avery Brooks, and of course Elliot Gould. My favorite character for Elliot Gould, like anybody else's, is probably Ross's dad from Friends. Avery Brooks playing Sweeney. I like how Elliot Gould is blaming Derek, but the principal already knows that Derek has been reformed, which is why it's in color right now. I love the passion of the character that Avery Brooks plays. He doesn't want to give up on Edward Furlong's life, you know? It's a dedicated principal. Good character. Good character for sure. Edward Furlong dogging Elliot Gould. But yeah, the effect that the principal has on both Derek and Danny, like he's like a pivotal character in regards to their character development. Principal has already reformed Derek by now, like I said, so that's why it's in color right now. And in this point in the story, Derek has already served his time and he got released from prison. the way Sweeney reflects on the brilliance of Derek shows the corruption that innocence has a prone to in regards to like going down the wrong path, right? Like the way that Derek used his brilliant mind, his genius kind of mind, like to lead the what's called the neo-Nazis, opposed to how he could have used his mind. You know, that's a very reality that we experience every day. Like some of our greatest people in this world are corrupted by God knows what. Edward Furlong is fucking awesome. Of course, the connection from the first podcast that I did was actually Clancy Brown, because Edward Furlong was in Pet Sematary 2, and so was Clancy Brown. So that connects American History X and The Shawshank Redemption. And of course, my favorite movie with Edward Furlong, Terminator 2, obviously. But let us not forget Ace Frehley for a moment. As I mentioned, one of the other best movies that Edward Furlong has ever been in, Detroit Rock City, baby. About those 4 fans of Kiss. And a cool thing about Detroit Rock City is that there are a couple of actors in this movie from Detroit Rock City. Point them out later. Yeah, this scene's always sad, you know? The way those black guys are just like picking on that white guy, but like, you know, they're trying to build the atmosphere of the division between races right now. And spoiler alert, blowing the smoke in the face of this young, fine gentleman here, the way Edward Furlong blows smoke in his face, that kind of is starting to lead towards Danny's downfall, which he learned from his brother, Derek, which is why this movie works on so many goddamn levels. I can't remember that actor's name that just got bullied. Something Masterson. I think he might be related to like Danny Masterson. I mean, Danny Masterson wants to be free, and I think Danny Masterson should be free on 2 conditions. Number 1, he reprise his role as Hyde in that 70s show. And number 2, he stay that 70 miles away from anybody I love and care about, you know? But yeah, right now the old Fuzz is investigating the neo-Nazi uprising in like Venice Beach or whatever it is. I'll have to get my phone here for some of the characters here, because I can't remember who played the dad in this movie. I want to check there. American History X dad. William Russ. So, but there's our first introduction to Stacey Keach. Stacey Keach is such a phenomenal actor, dude. I had a big religious phase when I was a kid, and there's a movie that Stacey Keach played in about Jesus. I think it was called Jesus of Nazareth, and Stacey Keach played Barabbas, the guy that like, who would you rather free, ladies and gentlemen, Jesus or Barabbas? And then they end up freeing Barabbas, even though we know they should have freed Jesus. Good story, by the way. Don't really believe in it, that religious, but good story. But yeah, right now they're doing the flashback scene of Derek Vineyard having a interview after his father, Dennis, was killed by a black guy while he was working. And this right here is part of Derek's being thrust into that world of neo-Nazism. And the hate speech that Derek's character spews here is actually from his father, Dennis, which has a lot of similarities to Hitler's father, feeling that kind of hatred in Hitler. Couple things about this movie like that are ironic. They made this movie as like a statement of like racism and we should all get along. But a lot of neo-Nazis and white supremacists actually used this movie for recruitment material. And yeah, they were basically like, hey man, did you see American History X? This is why you should join us, brother. They were basically like that, for which is ironic because this movie, it's about putting into check racism. And this movie is actually directed by Kaye, who is Jewish. In fact, when Kaye was signing the contract to direct this movie, he brought in a rabbi and signed the contract in a synagogue or whatever the fuck it is, just as some extra juju. Kaye is a little bit unusual. So again, we have narration in this movie. Now, I'll be the first one to say that, obviously, Shawshank Redemption narrator, Morgan Freeman, amazing. Compared, like, if you were to compare Edward Furlong's narration, Morgan Freeman all the way, but, like, still, Edward Furlong does a really good job in this movie, dude. And you can see the hatred manifesting on both sides here, like, in this particular scene, that guy that Danny blew the smoke into his face there, you can see the hatred that he has as well on the side of the black people there. This basketball scene's intense. Fairuza Balk is so hot, especially in The Craft, when she's all gothic and just pale white and shit. So awesome. But I mean, in this movie too, she's also really hot. And when I was a kid, I thought she was cute when I was a kid in Wizard of Oz too. Now, no, but like when I was a kid, Ethan Suplee. Ethan Suplee, like as a fan of Ethan Suplee, like I feel like I was introduced to Ethan Suplee through the movie Mallrats, directed by Kevin Smith. I like all of the racial slurs that they use throughout this movie. I'll be classy about it. I won't use any racial slurs, and I apologize if it offends anybody when I say, black people instead of African American people, but they're in America, so black Americans, I don't know, what do you want? Like, but yeah, black and whites, they went back to black and white, so this is back when Derek was still filled with Nazi hatred. This particular scene of the basketball scene here, it actually scared the fuck out of a lot of the black American actors on set. And a lot of them actually complained that Edward Norton was being unprofessional because he was, he was in character throughout the entire movie and he was acting like he hated them, right? So that led to a lot of complaints about Edward Norton, like being unprofessional by hating the people he was playing basketball against here. But that is his character, and it translates so beautifully in this movie. The hatred. Sometimes hatred can be beautiful, and this is a movie where hatred is beautiful, even though it's dark, obviously. But yeah, this is like loosely based on David McKenna's like childhood, growing up around punk rock neo-Nazis, and loosely based on Frank Mink's life. Frank Mink was a white supremacist who led the group Strike Force, and as far as I remember, he served 3 years in prison for aggravated kidnapping. And in the movie, Derek serves like 3 years in prison for murder. Yeah, that tension between them right now, man, that's real, because like just the way everybody was acting on set, it was so fucking real, from what I heard. Man, Fairuza Balk gets away with so many N-words in this movie. But yeah, man, this scene's wild. Like the people that Derek kills, he plays basketball against, right? And the music is just fucking epic. But yeah, they're playing for like territory rights for this basketball court. I like the joke that like the scene isn't realistic because there's no way that those white people would beat those black people at basketball, but that's not really a factor, as Larry Bird has shown us in the past. Larry Bird, one of the goats in basketball of all time. But yeah, the triumphant music where the whites win. Whites win. This movie's a little bit twisted, but at the same time, like, there's a weird feeling of rooting for Edward Furlong and Edward Norton because they're like the lead characters in the movie, and then recognizing that they're filled with white racist hate. So it's a little bit of a emotional trip, so to speak. The family meeting Derek at the prison gates there. Yeah, the mother is so fucking good in this movie. I mean, obviously, how the fuck's Beverly D'Angelo? Like, she was in a lot of good movies. Like, she actually got to play, I think it was Blanche or something in A Streetcar Named Desire. But yeah, we're back to color now, where Edward Norton is reformed. Yeah, the way Danny is following in the steps of his brother, and the way his brother is like, you can kind of see Edward Norton express through his character that he's uncomfortable with the fact that his younger brother is following in his footsteps, Edward Norton delivered such a fucking raw, phenomenal performance here. And the messed up thing about Tony Kaye and Edward Norton is that Tony Kaye, the director, like basically hated on Edward Norton throughout the whole fucking thing. Except for like after the wrap, after filming, Tony Kaye gave praise to Edward Norton for a moment there, even though there's more drama. But yeah, this scene where Seth, played by Ethan Suplee, is singing that white, racist, hateful song. There's like almost comic relief in it, but at the same time, you know, there's nothing funny about that extreme white racist hate, right? But it is pretty comical that he's shaking the whole van. Yeah, Ethan Suplee is actually like a solid like bodybuilder now, right? He's always been a big guy though, like really good actor. In the movie Remember the Titans, he's pretty cool. Yeah, for the character Seth, it's like he thinks that it's going to be old school Derek. You know, he thinks it's going to be that white racist hate Derek, who he was before he went to prison. But prison changed Derek, and we'll see why later in the movie. Love that part where Derek realizes that his old life was basically visiting Danny while he was locked up. Yeah, for Derek to put on that muscle, he put on like 30 pounds of muscle for that opening scene there where he kills those 3 black people or whatever it is. He actually asked Arnold Schwarzenegger, as far as I was told, he actually asked Arnold for tips on how to build muscle. And Arnold looked at his workout routine. He was like, double it. Make sure you do it twice. And I heard that Arnold was actually like asking Edward Norton, did you do steroids in order to get that look? How did you get that look? as far as I heard, you know. That was like Edward Furlong's best line. Believe in death, destruction. I love how hateful Ethan Suplee plays his character. The white hatred that Danny is spewing right now, he gets that from Stacey Keach's character, who has turned him into that neo-Nazi that he is. Love this part where Derek is listening in to his brother's confused hatred because Derek has already been reformed. Danny and Derek's sister Davina, like they all have D names and all that stuff. It's kind of cool, but like the sister, she's such a good actress, dude. Yeah, for Seth just thinks that it's his old school buddy Derek, right? So I was like, let's go party, man. Let's start living the way we were living before all of this shit before you got locked up. Let's go party, man. Danny's paper about Mein Kampf and arguing that Hitler is a civil rights hero. Unfortunately, for a lot of that David Lane white supremacist 88 crowd, that is kind of how they saw Hitler to a certain extent, right? Like he was there to liberate the white race by trying to rule the planet. I'm surprised that, like everybody's use of the N-word in this movie, like, like obviously we know that they're acting and they're doing a very phenomenal job acting. But like, there's a lot of different people considered for Derek Vineyard, for example, like Joaquin Phoenix. He read the script, and all of the N-words in the script and all of the racism and the hatred in the script. Joaquin, as far as I know, kind of expressed that his career wouldn't be able to really recover from playing that white racist, right? Now here's like the first real introduction of the mom, Beverly D'Angelo. Yeah, I love how raw and gritty this movie is. And the place that they're living in right now, like the family moved from that house that they had, and now they're in like some apartment, right? Sure. I think so anyway. Are they in an apartment right now? I'm tripping, dude. I'm tripping. Okay, let's see. But yeah, Beverly D'Angelo, she is such a passionate actress. She has so many acting credits, and my favorite role for Beverly D'Angelo would be Las Vegas Vacation. And she does a homage to Blanche Dubois from A Streetcar Named Desire in Las Vegas Vacation when she's on the phone. Yeah, she's a really good actress. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you got to finish school. I got some family members trying to not finish school, and the only thing that I would like to express, like it's hard to tell them this, but it's like finishing school is like going to allow your foot in the door for a lot more jobs than you realize. Like typically, you don't need a diploma to work at like Walmart or fucking Dollarama or McDonald's, but you do need a diploma to work for like rail companies, some grain elevators, and some factories and shit like that. So I like to tell my family members that are trying to decide to not graduate that they better learn to sell concert tickets and become stand-up comedians or musicians or something if they're not going to fucking graduate, right? Like learn to sell tickets, learn to sell content and generate revenue from like posted content or whatever. Like learn that kind of stuff. If you're not going to graduate, learn how to do that, because you see so many millionaires and like just for making like YouTube videos and stuff like I do this for free. This is just because like I love movies and I would love to be able to get paid for something like this, but overall I do this for free. But like for my family members thinking about not graduating, learn to sell tickets, learn to sell content. Yeah, the music kicks in, showing a certain kind of struggle and anguish. Just laughing at what Danny is typing. People look at me and see my brother. So it's like part of the story is Danny trying to find himself, you know? And Cameron, played by Stacey Keach. Yeah, right now Cameron is using Derek to create hatred within the community. And this scene is scary. It's phenomenal, dude. Such a good actor. This speech is so fucking awesome. This hate speech, so awesome. Like I said, Edward Norton studied real white supremacy and neo-Nazi groups in order to achieve this kind of rant that he's about to do. I believe this speech in the realm universe of the character, I believe that was from his father. His father and Cameron, played by Stacey Keach. Cameron and his father, William Russ. Dennis. This speech, phenomenal. I just want to hear it again. Such a good monologue. Speech like this would almost make me feel like, yeah, like, almost makes me want to be white, dude. It's that good of a speech. And no wonder that neo-Nazis used this to recruit people. It's my favorite part right here. That part's so good when he screams. It fucking pisses me off. Edward Norton really did become hatred incarnate. Just right on the screen there, man. It has been said a lot of people on set were actually terrified at the dead-eyed look that Edward Norton generated while playing the hateful part of Derek. And this scene is so fucking scary because it's based on a lot of actual real fucking hate crimes. And the way that Derek refers to the immigrants as border jumpers and parasites and stuff like that. Just no humanity whatsoever. Oh, this poor cashier lady and the supermarket workers just getting the fuck beat out of them. A lot of the cast members needed therapy, and I wouldn't doubt it if this chick, the cashier, being assaulted right now, it wouldn't surprise me if she needed therapy after this scene. When they fucking pour milk on her, oh man, and then say, that's a good color on you. Stuff like that. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if that woman needed therapy after this movie. Aw. Yeah, this is so raw and just hate. So much hatred, man. And sad, dude. But that's the power of this movie, man. It takes you from like deep, dark, visceral hate just based on racism. And then it takes you up to like that humanity later, right? So yeah, this is like the saddest part of humanity right here, where these people are just being beaten up and torn down just for being a different race, right? Like, shows the decline of our civilization by dividing ourselves from one another based on where we were born in the world and how our evolution decided to take our skin color. I've had to experience prejudice in the court system. I've had a judge tell me that she would judge me differently based on my skin color. Literally, you can check the court transcripts and everything from this year. So, like, hatred still exists, and it's everywhere. Danny still has reason in him. He's not fully changed yet, but Derek is the main hater right now. This scene is so fucking good. A lot of this dining room scene is ad-libbed by Edward Norton. Like, he learned how to rant like white supremacists and neo-Nazis. When they're talking about prejudice in the judicial system, like, I've experienced that firsthand. And also the real life of Frank Mink. A lot of Frank Mink's white supremacist friends actually went on to become cops and stuff like that. So racism is very real. Elliot Gould, Beverly D'Angelo, Edward Norton, Fairuza Balk, Edward Furlong. That chick who plays the sister. Like, this is such a good scene. I like, Derek sticking up for the cops who beat the shit out of Rodney King, saying that they used the right amount of force and shit like that. This scene made Beverly D'Angelo sick. And Beverly was terrified. Beverly was terrified by Edward Norton's dead eyes. Man, when I was a teenager, like, unfortunately, I do identify the most with Derek, even though I am brown, right? I'm not white, but family dinner table conversation, like, I was filled with hatred when I was a teenager. Tough mom. Aw, tough mom tried to change the conversation, but even Elliot Gould's character was like, no, we gotta finish this conversation. The anguish that Elliot Gould portrays there. Just watching Derek's confused mindset and hatred, just so authentic. And Danny just absorbing his brother's racist hatred rant. That smirk after Elliot Gould's character brings up anti-Semitism. Fairuza's scary in this scene, dude. Like, I think she's hot, and but like her character, if we met in real life, she would call me a fucking savage Indian and shit like that. So it's like, fucking love the way Edward Norton freaks out here, man. My sister and I, we used to argue quite a bit, like when we were like teens and stuff like that. But like never this hard, where he's shoving the food into her mouth and shit like that. But we have argued like that. Love my sisters though, all four of them. Yeah, this family argument scene, dude, it's so fucking, it brings me back. But yeah. Elliot Gould's character, like his heart breaking. And the disgust that Beverly D'Angelo shares. It's so fucking awesome, dude. What a performance, man. What a fucking performance by Edward Norton. When he shows his swastika tattoo, it says not welcome. My friends and I used to joke about that. We're like, see this? Not welcome. Oh my god. Beverly is so good in this scene, dude. Every son who has argued with their mother, like I think everybody argues with their parents, right? Like my mom has always been awesome. Like, thank God she has never said anything, I'm ashamed that you came out of my body, like the way Beverly D'Angelo did there. But like that scene is just so epic. Just like, could you imagine your mom saying something like that to you? It's just a boy without a father. Yeah, man. Very, very solid supporting actor Elliot Gould driving away right now after having a hopeless debate with Derek Vineyard and being dogged by him. Not welcome. The slow motion as the mom walks to the house. It's a broken family. She breaks down at the curb. Yeah, this family fight scene is so fucking epic, man. That right there, where Danny literally looks up at Derek. That metaphor for Danny looking up to Derek as Derek is still like sick and confused and just filled with hatred. That's epic because that sends Danny down the path that he's on right now. And they show glimpses of Danny's humanity by showing that he's a good big brother right here to his little sister. The way the mom blames herself and she's like constantly smoking and stuff like that, like this like her illness comes from Derek, like his murder and stuff like that, like the way their lives have changed. It's all because of Derek being sick and filled with hatred and murdering those people. Yeah, the mom tries so hard, like the character of the mom, like she just tries so hard to just take care of her babies, and once the dad dies, all of the hatred the dad gave Derek just ruins their life, because that's the path that they take after their dad Dennis was shot and killed by a black guy. Fairuza Balk. Fairuza Balk's like her character is very supportive of the hatred of Derek, right? Like when Derek reforms himself, it's a different story, but like everybody needs a supportive girlfriend, yeah. Oh man. Here comes one of the most iconic, violent scenes of all time. Oh man. At gunpoint, would you put your mouth on the curb? I think I would probably just like fucking shoot me, motherfucker. Yeah, I think I would do that. Put your mouth on the curb. Ah, man. Oh, man. So epic, dude. this scene where he stomps his head into the curb, that made, as far as I read there, like that made Edward Norton puke and throw up after this scene. It's like, just give me a minute, Tony. And it actually made test audiences walk out and go to the bathroom and throw up and stuff like that too. And that absolutely remorseless fucking smirk on his face there. What a demon. Yeah, he put on 30 pounds of muscle, dude. Doubled his workout because Arnold told him to. He just portrays hatred so well. And then going from smirking at Danny to that, like, oh man, it's so intense. Norton should have won an Oscar for this. Roberto Benigni, I've never seen the movie that won that beat Best Oscar, but like it was Tom Hanks and it was Edward Norton and like someone else and like Roberto Benigni up for Best Actor. And Roberto Benigni ended up winning. And I never even seen that Roberto Benigni movie. I'll have to look into it later. But fun fact, Edward Norton was supposed to play Private Ryan in Saving Private Ryan. Or he was offered that. And I think he elected to do American History X over being Private Ryan. And then, of course, the role went to Matt Damon. But I really do think that Edward Norton would do a convincing Private Ryan all the way. And if you look at Edward Norton's face and Tom Hanks' face, the psych out that they do in Saving Private Ryan with the old man, like, you know, that looks like Tom Hanks' face just a little bit, you know, like they have similar traits. So it would almost fit even more, I think. It would almost fit even more if it was Edward Norton who played Saving Private Ryan. But Matt Damon, you did a great job in Saving Private Ryan, obviously. And thank God that Edward Norton chose to do American History X. And this Nazi, the neo-Nazi punk rock party, that was actually from, what's his name there? What the fuck's his name? David McKenna. David McKenna. That was actually from experiences that he had around Venice Beach with punk rock neo-Nazism, as far as I learned, right? So hope I got that right. But yeah, all the people dressed up as the Lur. I read an article that said that Hitler had a micro penis, but nah, man. Hitler had to have had a huge fucking arm, a baby arm down there, right? And the reason I believe that is, like, you don't rule an entire nation and lead an entire army to, like, obliterating 6 million Jews if you have a micro one. I mean, word would get out, like, we're following this Hitler guy. He must have, like, how big's his dick? Like, if he has a huge hog, I'll follow him into hell. So, like, I feel like that whole micro thing that one genealogist is trying to put out in the world, I feel like Hitler probably had a huge hog. And one of my buddies was telling me, stop thinking about Hitler's huge hog, because I was studying this movie before here. But yeah, like, I think Hitler had a huge hog, dude. What do you think? I'm joking. But yeah, Stacey Keach is so fucking good in this movie. Stacey Keach is such a good actor. Go check out the show Titus with Stacey Keach playing Titus's father. Christopher Titus, very good stand-up comedian. And his father, Ken Titus, he riffs on him a lot in regards to his drinking and stuff like that. And it's a very good father-son kind of show if you had a similar upbringing, which I feel like I did in the show Titus. Fairuza Balk looks so beautiful in this scene. Right now, she's so in love with Derek until right here. Yeah, she loves the power that Derek has over the neo-Nazi group. We have reached the halfway point of this movie. And the halfway point of this movie starts the part where Derek is voicing that I've changed. I'm not who I was before. I can't go back to this neo-Nazi life anymore. Yeah, halfway through the movie now. Stacey. Another Stacey name there. Beautiful name, by the way, Stacey. Beautiful name. I hope I never fall in love with a blue-eyed white chick like Fairuza Balk, because like my if she decides to break my heart, dude, I'll never recover. That chick's so beautiful. That chick Lizzie into Danny. Cameron looking at Hitler's photo for inspiration. Yeah, everything that Cameron says is like Stacey Keach's character Cameron, like it's about playing what he wants from these kids. The picture of Jesus above Hitler in the background there, fucking epic. Yeah, man, it's too bad that Hitler had to ruin that mustache. Like nobody can wear that mustache unless they're either doing it ironically or they're doing it like yeah. Yeah, that mustache just got ruined, right? Like if I were to walk around with that mustache, people would be like, what are you doing, dude? You look like Hitler. I'd be like, no, it's Charlie Chaplin. But yeah, it's just too bad that that look was taken away from mankind, basically. But Hitler was a fan of Charlie Chaplin, is what I heard. So that's why he had a mustache like that. But who isn't a fan of Charlie Chaplin? Charlie Chaplin is a legend, you know. Him, Fatty Arbuckle, all that old school crew, stuff like that. Like the big swastika flag in the background. Same symbol that the Egyptians kind of used, only tilted. Yeah, Derek found out that Cameron wasn't as hard as he is led on. I love that one where Derek calls Cameron a chicken hawk, preying on young kids there, turning them into neo-Nazis and stuff, which was a real concern in American history. I love that. He's protecting his brother. Yeah, you don't fucking talk to me about my brother that way. Fucking gives Cameron a punch. Just beats the fuck out of him. It's an awesome scene. A very awesome scene with what you call it, Stacey Keach. Like, again, I just wanted to shout out to Stacey Keach how awesome of an actor he is, and just like, yeah, man. Oh man, Fairuza Balk just screaming the N word here. It's haunting, dude. It's haunting. I really wish I saw this movie in theaters, but when this movie was out, I wasn't even like, I think I was like 10 or something. So I was like, yeah, this scene where Derek alienates himself from all of the neo-Nazis, removing himself from where he was welcomed. Like, it's hard to change your life when you're trying to be a better person and you're in with the wrong group and stuff like that, and you have to say goodbye to certain friends and close the door on those certain friends. So there's a lot going on here. And then Danny being pissed off at his brother for that. Yeah, Danny's so mad at his brother right now because Danny doesn't know where he belongs. That's part of this. The sweetness of this movie is that Danny is trying to find himself while already being part of Derek's hatred. And here's where Derek starts to tell him what has happened. Edward Furlong does a really good podcast with, I think it's Michael Rosenbaum, and they were talking about partying and stuff like that, and Edward Furlong, you should go check out the podcast with Edward Furlong and Michael Rosenbaum, but Edward Furlong was talking about partying and how there's like a bunch of heroin in the house or whatever, and he was partying and he's like, fuck man, I gotta get rid of this heroin, I gotta fucking stop doing this, man. I've hit rock bottom, this is it. So he threw out the heroin, and then after he threw out the heroin, he was like, huh, anybody got more heroin? Go check it out, it's a good podcast episode. Yeah, that Michael Rosenbaum podcast has a good episode with Clancy Brown from The Shawshank Redemption as well. But yeah, here's where Derek shares the truth with Danny that he has learned while in prison. Yeah, I wonder where they actually did the prison scenes. I'm going to look it up right now. American History X prison scenes location. So they shot this at the California Institution for Men in Chino, California. Yeah, I only speculate on the rumors I heard, but Chino apparently is a very hard prison to live at. That's what I heard. According to like Scared Straight and stuff. No, I'm joking. But yeah, this part's hardcore, man, because the way Edward Norton says he's gonna put up a flag and he just shows his tattoo, and then whoever gravitates towards him, it's crazy. The reaction of the black guys in prison, because everybody's trying to size up Derek. That fucking look he gives him before he starts lifting weights, man. Even the black guy's like, you better watch your boy. Better watch your boy. This is such a good movie, man. One can argue that if it wasn't for the hypocrisy that the neo-Nazis showed in prison towards Derek, that he might have stayed a white supremacist overall. But yeah, like I said earlier, this was loosely based on Frank Mink, real life white supremacist, a real life white supremacist who went to prison for aggravated kidnapping. And yeah, he was reformed in prison. I'm not too sure if he was reformed in quite the same fashion that Derek gets reformed. We'll see in a second here. But Torry, he's a really good actor. The black guy that Edward Norton is doing laundry with, Guy Torry, he's a really good actor, dude. From the movie Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood or whatever it is there. He's so funny because he plays Dashiki's baby daddy, and he's in prison, and he's talking to Ashtray in the movie Don't Be a Menace. And he's talking to Ashtray. How come you never come see me, Ashtray? And Ashtray's like, I don't know you. He's like, oh yeah. it's so funny, man. Go check it out. Don't Be a Menace. That Guy Torry scene is awesome. This Guy Torry scene is awesome too, dude. I love how cold and closed off Derek starts. Because Derek still doesn't see black people as human, you know? Still sees them as parasites, like he explained when he did that hate speech before the supermarket scene. That is such a strong performance by Guy Torry. When he said, in the joint, you're the minority, right? That one of the white supremacist dudes right now doing the drug deal with the Mexicans there. He always kind of reminded me of like Keith Jardine just a little bit, just look wise. Like Keith Jardine's an awesome MMA fighter, as well as he is very film oriented, and he actually has a movie coming out. I can't remember what it is. I'll plug it for you right now, just quickly. Keith Jardine movie. Okay, I don't know what it's, but he's directing a movie, and I can't remember what the hell's Kill Me Again, I think it's what it's called. Yeah, Kill Me Again with Keith Jardine. That's his movie that he has coming up, and I'm very excited to see it. I will definitely check out that Keith Jardine movie, Kill Me Again. Actually, it's already released. Yeah, it was released in August, but I still gotta see it. American History X budget. Okay, so the budget for American History X was actually $20 million, and the box office resulted in a $23.9 million payout. So the movie itself only made like $4 million, but still, that's anything plus is a win. Like, especially when you're doing a movie. And again, this sort of had a slow burn effect as far as like, you know, it took some time for The Shawshank Redemption to become known as a great movie, and it took some time for American History X to kind of become the same way, you know? Like, American History X is definitely one of the coolest movies. And yeah, it's too bad that Tony Kaye, the director, actually kind of disowned this movie. I'll talk about that in a bit. But you can see Beverly D'Angelo character's chain smoking, and that's where she gets her illness from, because her family is in turmoil, right? Like, a mother loves her family, and this mother is so stressed out right now with Derek locked up and with Danny becoming like Derek. She's such a good actress. That's a mother's love right there, dude. Wherever you go in this world, in a way, your mother's heart is with you, dude. This is where Torry opens up Derek just a little bit. One of the things that opens up Derek is the way that Torry's character makes Derek laugh. So laughter really does bridge a lot of the gaps when it comes to conquering hatred. Yeah, when he was making fun of the KKK. Yeah, that part's awesome. Basically talks Derek down from that inner turmoil that he had from the interaction he had with his mother in the scene before it. But yeah, Derek watching his neo-Nazi group do business with like the Mexicans and stuff like that. Like, that sort of makes that inside thing there where it's like, he starts to see through the bullshit. So one can argue that Derek's white supremacist hate was the most pure of that group. And then Derek watching his brothers not actually be committed as hard as he is, that starts his reforming. And Guy Torry has a lot to do with it. I also miss the smell of a woman. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I had a woman, and I'm going crazy, bro. So far, Derek hasn't said a word to Guy Torry. Yeah, Guy Torry is a genius for this character. I would argue that Guy Torry is the comic relief in this movie, but there is a lot of seriousness in his character when it comes to his concern for Derek. Particularly right here in the cafeteria when Derek shuns his own people and starts to become his own reforming being. Talking old school basketball. Yeah, dude, like when I was a kid, like, Michael Jordan was on the TV when I was like 7 and all that stuff, and it was just like kids these days will just they'll never know how phenomenal, like, I know I was thinking about Michael Jordan when they're talking about the Celtics, but yeah, like kids these days will never know how truly phenomenal it was to see that man play a live game, jump from the free throw line all the way. Man, it's awesome. But yeah, Derek opened up finally. And I love that Derek believes Guy Torry's character. At first it's like, really? Sorry, this part's captivating. This part's captivating because Derek senses the injustice that Guy Torry, his character, experienced by stealing a TV in the TV falling on the cop's foot and then him getting 6 years for it. Wow. Oh God. Yeah, let's just go ahead and cover that as much as we can there. So it's, yeah, there you go. Just in case some of that nudity shows up in the background here. But yeah, for this scene, the people who attacked Derek, they actually needed therapy after simulating this prison rape scene. Fucking bull queers, man. Oh, so nasty. The guard looking the other way. Oh, man. Deliverance, eat your heart out. So yeah, Derek gets raped and fucking his head gets fucking knocked into the wall and he falls down to the ground unconscious. Like, dude, it's like the craziest fucking, one of the craziest prison scenes of all time. There are many other crazy prison scenes out there, but yeah, right now Derek's ass is on the fucking TV, so I'm just, hiding it from the reflection here. All right. And now we start Derek's reforming. So yeah, Derek has 6 stitches on his asshole from getting raped. And the actor who simulated the rape of Derek there, that actor, he had to seek therapy after raping Edward Norton's character in this movie's universe. And Derek crying there too. Avery Brooks, Sweeney. Like, that's so epic, That's where he's like, man, my life must have taken a wrong turn. He just weeps next to Sweeney. A brother's love can really change the world, dude. And it changes Derek's world. Like Derek's mom and the principal Sweeney are both concerned that Danny is going down the same path, and they're trying to express that to Derek. And the mom and the principal are definitely key towards Derek reforming. I don't know if Frank Mink, the person that this is loosely based on, I don't know if he was raped in prison or not. Hope not, but yeah, the prison rape is pretty key when it comes to Derek reforming, and then again his mom and the principal warning him about his brother. When Sweeney is talking about blame here, and then talking about, has anything you ever done made your life better? Like, it really makes you question accountability within this lifetime. Like, if you go around blaming others for your situation, if you go around blaming others for the way you are, then how can you grow, right? So that's what, like, you can see Derek breaking down right here. His character development is so fucking beautiful, dude. The love for his family. Yeah, Norton's weeping. So genuine. You gotta love how his character sticks to his guns, that even after he was raped by that neo-Nazi group, he still says fuck that. He's not going back to that life. And then Guy Torry's expression of concern is, again, just elegant, dude. Like the beauty within the darkness. When he's talking about how the brothers are gonna smoke him and stuff like that, man, it's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of like cliques and groups in prison, right? So like not belonging anywhere makes Derek an open target for everybody. But yeah, all of like the little subtle elements that arise to protect Derek and help him while he's inside, like all that stuff is great. And he's growing his hair back, showing that he's slowly starting to reform. And the way Derek keeps his head down and tries to walk away from everybody. And he kind of like wonders, like, why aren't they coming after me? What's going on here? Yeah, man, this movie's so beautiful. Beautiful and dark. That's right here, dude. Reformed. But yeah, making friends with Guy Torry, like, that saved Derek on the inside from the brothers, man. And the music. Here it comes. That fucking connection that he had there. So good, dude. I say, take it easy on the brothers, man. But yeah, man, so many elements to make that fucking prison story of this whole movie are just, man, so many elements. That fucking dark, fucking deep down, fucking being raped shit, all the way to like him being saved by the friend he makes in the laundry room, dude. And he's trying to reform his brother right now. Where Derek shows remorse for killing. This part's awesome. Sorry, I'm just captivated. I love you and you're my best friend. Yeah, like his love for his family saves him. His connection in the laundry room saves him. Sweeney saves him. Like all these little elements just trying to save Derek from going down the wrong path any further. There are so many levels to this movie. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention there's a character in this movie played by Giuseppe Andrews, and he was actually in the movie Detroit Rock City with Edward Furlong. And Giuseppe Andrews is let's see, what movies was he in? He was in the movie fucking Cabin Fever. He was in the movie Cabin. He's like, hey, party man. He was that guy in the original Cabin Fever movie directed by Eli Roth. Party man. The cop Winston. And yeah, I thought I'd bring up now that there's a tattoo I think that Giuseppe Andrews had, and I think there's a deleted scene because of it. But there's a tattoo that he had from the Anti-Heroes. This is this punk band that had some sort of neo-Nazi things. But they argued that they weren't actually a racist band or whatever, and they tried to sue American History X for that tattoo being, I think it was on Giuseppe Andrews in a deleted scene or something like that. Which, by the way, there's a deleted scene on this DVD where Giuseppe Andrews and somebody else, they're just like fucking tearing into this sweet black homeless, or I don't know if she's homeless, but she comes off homeless pushing a cart, this sweet lady there, and like, oh man, it's a heartbreaking scene. That scene is like one of the most heartbreaking scenes. But yeah, when they're tearing off the posters, like, you know, signifying that they're trying to leave that old life of hatred and neo-Nazism like in the past and behind them. So yeah, Derek's reformed, and Danny is on the verge of being reformed. So yeah, this cut of the movie was actually edited mostly by Edward Norton himself, and the director. Director Tony Kaye was upset about that. All right, here's the dad, William Russ. A part of me believes this part should almost be in color, but the dad is like the hatred and the racism that the black and white scenes signify. You know, like right now, Derek's brilliant mind is actually like captivated by the principal Sweeney, And the dad's like, whoa, what's going on here? Don't believe this black guy. Like the hatred of the father torn into the son, just like burned into the son's soul. Further exacerbated by his father being killed by that black guy later. Like, William Russ does a really good job at playing the racist cop at home having dinner with his family, spewing that hatred to his children. That is how it perpetuates. Teaching your children stuff like that is how it perpetuates. The dad does such a good job. The actor playing the dad does such a good job. When he's talking about affirmative action hires. Sorry, the dad's speech is solid. Affirmative action hires, I believe it has worked in my favor in the past because I'm brown, but I do understand what the character Dennis Vineyard is expressing to a certain extent. And that's the tricky thing about white supremacists and neo-Nazism, that a lot of it makes some sense, but at the end of the day, hatred is not the way. At the end of the day, I don't even know if love is the way. I think it's somewhere in between, right? Danny crying for his father. Yeah, if you're watching this, my kids somewhere down the line there, this, I'll keep these on for as long as they're on, but if you're watching this, my kids, hatred is not the way. And they're showing the innocence of Danny and Derek when they were kids. And the music, so good. But yeah, this was edited by Edward Norton, and Tony Kaye was very upset with that. Originally, they tried to get Dennis Hopper to direct this movie, but Dennis Hopper requested $1 million. I think that's because Dennis Hopper knew that New Line Cinema would be bossing him around. It's like, yeah, give me $1 million and you can boss me around. So they said no to Dennis Hopper. Then after that, they Larry Clark, who directed Kids, that movie Kids, he was offered this, but he was scheduled for something else. Then eventually they gave it to Tony Kaye, and Tony Kaye only had experience with music videos and short films and stuff like that. He did the music video Runaway Train with Soul Asylum, did the music video I think it's Danny California, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and my favorite, Johnny Cash's God's Gonna Cut You Down. And the irony of a lot of neo-Nazis using this movie as a recruitment tool is that Kaye is Jewish. The director is Jewish. Yeah, you can tell Danny is starting to question and think, like, am I on the right path? He looks up to his brother so much. The way he dresses up for his parole officer. You know, like, I do respect authority, but it, like, a lot of the court system is very racist and prejudice, and it's just unfortunate. Based on the courts telling me they're going to judge me differently because of the color of my skin, and based on the Crown Attorney bringing up the color of my skin, like, let us not forget that Darren is, you know. But let's back to this movie here. See, after all the drama, Beverly D'Angelo's character, you know, she's always gonna love her babies, and that's what I love. You know, like, even though they're grown up and all that stuff, it's beautiful. The mother's love thing. Yeah, it's a whole different world here for them, because they're alienated from the neo-Nazi group after beating the shit out of Cameron. And that hatred from the black people it's been there through the whole movie here. But this part, there's a deleted scene here. They just skipped the deleted scene, but the deleted scene was Edward Norton was talking to this little black girl about like, how do I look? Do I look good? And then the black girl's like, yeah, you look good. And it's a sweet little scene showing that he is reformed, that they should have left in, I think. Yeah, so Cameron and Seth, Stacey Keach and Ethan Suplee, like, their character. Somebody beat the fuck out of them the night before. Now Sweeney's reaching out for Derek's help. The sadness is that the authorities are trying to bring Derek back into his life that he's trying to leave behind. So there's, like, so many different, like, political elements trying to keep him in that life when he's trying to get out of it, right? So I was just reflecting on how they're trying to bring him back into that life. The irony is that Seth and Cameron was, like, using him to spread that neo-Nazi hatred. And then when Derek tries to get out of that life, you got Sweeney and the authorities trying to bring Derek back into that life and use him. Like, everybody's trying to use Derek, right? And Derek's just trying to still find himself in this world, right? While at the same time be a good role model for his brother Danny. So it's just a lot going on here. But yeah, they're just trying to better their lives, man. Derek's reformed. Danny is starting to become reformed. Norton being positive. Everything will be fine, Danny. I like that strength, like, I mean, that, the way that Derek was like about to tell his brother that he loves him or something like that, but decides to say, I'll see you at home. Like, I love how his face, Edward Norton's face says it, right? I love you, Danny. I'll see you at home. Right? He doesn't have to say I love you, but it's there. Brother's love. And even though we don't get to see how it happened, now, Danny has Lily. Lily is his girlfriend now. Don't really get to see how that happened, but it's sweet. We return to the bathroom where that Chris Masterson fellow was being bullied. I believe that was Chris Masterson. Check out the end here. And the way Derek's intuition is telling him something's wrong. Danny getting shot to death by the guy that he blew smoke in. Works on so many levels. Like he blew that smoke in his face earlier in this movie. Then he, like, slow motion, bloody mess falling to the ground. Hatred begetting more hatred. While they were trying to escape that hatred, dude. Yeah, Edward Norton's great actor. Fucking great actor, dude. Lily crying. Aw. Breaks my heart. Fuck, it's a good movie, man. My only wish is that I wish that Edward Norton, like, he doesn't have any real tears falling down his face here, but it's like, it's still beautiful because, like, loves his brother so much. And then Danny does his narration. The beautiful conclusion. still looking up to his brother in the narration. Abraham Lincoln, I think. American History X, ending the movie in tragedy, a beautiful tragedy, with an Abraham Lincoln quote. That was awesome. It's a great movie, dude. 5-star movie all the way. And yeah, a few things about this movie. There's a lot of behind the scenes drama with what's his name there, Tony Kaye, because like Tony Kaye was a brand new director, and like the studio bought into Tony Kaye directing it, and I feel like Tony Kaye might have thought he was going to have a lot more control and artistic input when it comes to this movie, but it appears like the studio had, like studio gets final say, right? Like if that's your boss, you're working for the studio. Tony Kaye was working for the studio. Like New Line Cinema gets the final say. But what it seemed like they had a really strong disagreement in regards to the art, like the way Edward Norton edited this version of the movie. Like Tony Kaye was upset with that because Tony Kaye wanted to edit the movie differently. And the ending of this movie, the original ending of this movie, was supposed to be Derek shaving his head, looking at himself in the mirror, like a tear coming down his face or something like that, and then leaving it open for interpretation that he goes back to his old life. But at the same time, I'm thinking that the original ending, if they were to have done that, I'm thinking it would have left room open for Derek helping out the authorities, and Sweeney, the way Sweeney approached him at the cafe or whatever to help the authorities get inside information for Cameron's white supremacist movement. But yeah, behind the scenes there was a lot of animosity between Tony Kaye and the studio, and Tony Kaye didn't want his name affiliated with American History X, the movie, to the point where he tried to change his name to Humpty Dumpty, and he actually, like, he was working on a documentary about the behind the scenes of what is going on with American History X, like what happened and how they took that creative control away from him, like all that stuff. And that was supposed to be called like Humpty Dumpty X, and but yeah, he hasn't released that as far as that goes. But yeah, dude, there was a perfect storm of just Edward Norton's great acting, and Tony Kaye got the footage and all that stuff. David McKenna's beautiful writing, based on Frank Meek's life there, and like Furlong, and like the dedication shown by everybody. There's a perfect storm of everything just for this movie to be so fucking solid and good. It's just a really good movie. It's a really good movie overall. And to anybody who watched this with me, I just want to say thank you for watching this with me. Yeah, it's a really solid movie. But American History X, Antisocial Commentary number 2, American History X 1998. Signing off. Here we go. Cut. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next episode. Cheers, love, respect.